are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
Hello and welcome to our webinar on AI-led cyber attacks, emerging threat and countermeasures. As you know, my name is Sanjay Mahapatra. I'm editor for Enterprise IT World EMEA. I'm actually thrilled to have you all with us for this important discussion on the evolving landscape of cybersecurity. Let me introduce all our esteemed members to start with. Let me introduce our moderator of this session. His name is Illyas Kooliyankal. He's CEO for CyberShelter and he's a renowned expert in the field of cybersecurity. He'll be guiding us through today's discussion and ensuring we cover all the potential aspects of the topic. Now, following him, let me introduce all our panelists. Mr. Tushar Vartak, he is EVP Head Information Cybersecurity Fraud Prevention at RAK Bank. Tushar has been at the forefront of cybersecurity initiatives in the banking sector. We have Mr. Anoop Kumar, CISO Gulf News. Anoop has extensive experience in protecting media organizations from cyber threats. We do have Ali katkhuda. He's Group CIO at Depa Group. Ali is expert in managing IT infrastructure and cybersecurity for large enterprises. We have Marc Manzano. He's general manager for cybersecurity at SandboxAQ. Marc is a leading voice in the field of cybersecurity and quantum computing. Last but not the least is Ivan Milenkovic. He is vice president for cyber risk technology for EMEA region at Qualys. Ivan's insights into cyber risk management are highly respected in the industry. With this, I'll hand over this mic or the baton to our moderator, Illyas. Illyas, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay, and welcome and a pleasure to moderate this panel with the stalwarts in various parts of cybersecurity, my friends and great thought leaders in cybersecurity, and I think they are best placed to talk about the impact of AI in the cybersecurity field. So, and also I welcome all the listeners. We're really looking forward to have a very engaging conversation today. And we'll have some question answer time also, but we'll try to be very informal, casual discussion rather than being very typical artificial question answers. There's no particular format for the discussion. Just we want to share our thoughts, with our listeners. AI-led cyber attacks or threats are pretty kind of increase a lot exponentially over last probably I think I would say 8 to 10 months. And that really changed the whole landscape. There's a huge paradigm shift in the cybersecurity field. I mean, what I saw as a cybersecurity service provider and a solution provider in some of the customer side, what we have noticed is that the AI-based developments are happening in such a way that the cybersecurity professional doesn't have any clue. Whatever controls implemented in the past and protected, it's all kind of bypass with the advent of AI-based system. Similarly, AI-based attacks are largely increasing, although we predicted it a few years back. It's become a reality now. I mean, as cybersecurity experts around the world are pulling their hair to see how we can be one step ahead of the attackers. So the challenge is really valid, and today's discussion is not a theoretical discussion. As I said, it is really a challenge what the industry, the world is facing, and these kind of discussions are pretty important to come out with what is a strategy organizations can adopt in proactively handling this. So I wanted to welcome again the panel members, the esteemed panel members. So just to give an idea, I would be looking forward to your thoughts on the overall subject, and I will start with now with Tushar. Tushar, what do you think about the whole issue, and what exactly you're seeing in the banking sector in particular, and in general in the industries facing in AI based? So AI, as we said, it could be AI based attack, AI based defense, AI system itself. There's three angle of AI and cybersecurity. So I just would like to hear from you a 30-second overview of the subject and your thought process on that.
Certainly. Thanks, Illyas, and pleasure to be here with all of you, esteemed panelists. Um, what we have been seeing across the industry, and this is not really centered towards banking, but as a whole industry, we are seeing a lot of different kind of attacks, and attackers, in my opinion, are the first ones who will take advantage of a new technology. So, for example, I just take it about 15-20 years back when virtualization first came to the fore. Attackers were the first ones to use malware in a virtualized environment. So in this case as well, they are a little ahead of utilizing these technologies, specifically technologies such as generative AI. And a lot of you who generally love reading about Gen AI have heard about deepfakes, and deepfakes have been a cause for concern there in the banking industry itself. In some parts of the world, there have been transfers that were made using deepfake videos that were created. Synthetic identities is another thing that is a cause for concern for anybody who has to onboard customers and do know your customer checks. And as a bank itself, we have seen specifically a rise for the industry, banking industry, in spear phishing attacks. And these are really, really sophisticated attacks based on social profiles. So, for example, typically you would try to educate your customers by telling them that look for misplaced grammatical words, look for something that is not formed well, a sentence that is not formed well, to identify phishing mails or mails impersonating a particular brand. Now, if you put something in Chat GPT, it gives you a very, very professional version of the same phishing email. Attackers have taken it a little bit ahead in the game, in the sense that they are now scouring for your social presence. And if you are interested in, for example, robotics, then they can craft a mail that is specifically targeting your interest in robotics, and luring you to download or click on that particular link. So we are seeing a lot of this happening, Elias. And banks specifically are generally the go-to target because that is where the money is. And that's why banks have also upped their game in terms of countermeasures. And I can, when we come to that part of this discussion, we will be happy to talk about that as well, Elias. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tushar. I will immediately move to Anoop. Anoop, now you are publishing news. So, what do you think the AI challenge could be? Somebody can hijack your news publishing process and put some words or news that can be completely can tarnish the reputation of the media house, or even governments or public. The AI based attacks and the AI adoption in the media industry, how you think that is actually posing the challenges in your business, and how as a CISO you are educating the organization and the respective parties on what kind of challenges they should expect. Because just to add on what Tushar mentioned, if somebody says, I want to target Anoop, or I want to target Illyas and CyberShelter, and give the command, it can really make a very sophisticated targeted attack a mail can go to one of my employee, and things can work whatever way the attackers are expecting. So what do you think, Anoop, on that side? And plus I want to just ask you one more thing is, how probably you, I don't know how much you are involved in, but how is the public coming out to Gulf News in terms of AI based fraud, they are being defrauded and all? Is there a lot of cases you're getting in Gulf News, all these complaints?
Interesting question. Thanks, Illyas, and thanks, Enterprise Mia. As I've already got the introduction, I'm from the newspaper industry. First of all, I would like to highlight that, say, we are comparatively less regulated. And that doesn't mean that, say, we don't have threat and attacks. It is the same attacks level, plus we have additional high amount of geopolitical attacks as well, based on whatever we publish today. The amount of attacks what we receive. If I first answer about the feedback, what you just asked the question, the last question about the amount of readers coming to Gulf News talking about their, as a victim, they talk about it. There are several cases we are receiving about automated phishing attacks and wishing things happens, and also a lot of brute force attacks as well. So of late, we are receiving about the deepfake related incidents as well. So, like I said, from organization, it's less regulated. So most of the media organization in the world, we have comparatively less security investment as well. We survive basically 50-50, like 50 administrative controls and 50 security technology controls, provided we have a strong governance. So most of our media peers, what we have in common is that, say, we talk a lot more GRC activities. So that is driving us, say, a GRC by design model, which is applied. That is, it is giving enough education to people, and definitely it is giving a lot of controls to all the involved parties and holding them together, because we cannot just put restrictions, because everybody's demand, because we are publishers as well. So we need to publish this news before it getting expired on time to the market. So we can't be a showstopper. So a media organization, CISO or governance or any of that people are business people too, because we need to walk along with the team, provided. If I talk about content is our king, so this content, complete life cycle, content life cycle, from design or from before the design itself, identification itself, and news or whatever the content we require, the entire life cycle, starting from content identification, production, delivery, archive, disposal. So this entire area, everybody is involved, like in a sense, not only inside parties, there are third parties also involved. So we actually are highly targeted in terms of all the dynamics, like in a sense, in insider threat, third party risk, and that kind of issues we face, and impersonation and logo misuse. And the last one you highlighted about, what if somebody manipulates the image of, say, Sheikh Mohammed? What if somebody manipulates the content? So that's also a biggest risk. So on average, we get around 25,000 attacks per day. That in the means of email, in the means of web attacks, in the means of phishing, wishing, all these kind of things. So media organization always struggling with the right security technology investment, and but surviving with most of the administrative controls. That is where we are.
Thank you so much, Anoop, for touching on all the points. Really appreciate that. Yeah. So because I think you will have even harder time now because of more and more adoption of AI-based attacks. So the quantity and the frequency could be even more, I believe.
That is
Ali,
exactly. Sorry. I would just want to add one more thing in there. The AI, that's what I said, to content lifecycle thing, to reach the market on time. AI adoption started in all the stages of this, and that is opening up more challenges, like you said. And that is the biggest thing which we are working now. A continuous education we already started, at a decent amount of acceptable use policies grooming up now, and also trying to alter and adjust the processes and available technologies to combat such things. Sorry, I took it.
Thank you so much, Anoop, for adding that. So, Ali, coming to you now, what do you think? What is your overall thought process on AI based? Instead of AI led, I said AI surrounding AI. What kind of security challenges and concepts and thoughts what is coming to your mind, and how it is impacting your kind of business as a large organization, what you're managing the technology front.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me. First of all, let me shed some lights. We are a construction, so it's a really nice combination having different perspective from different industry. So we are a construction or an interior contracting public listed group. We are mainly three group, started public listed in London, then Singapore Stock Exchange, and now we are public listed in Nasdaq Dubai. We do an interior of 5 stars hotel like Burj Al Arab, Burj Khalifa, Atlantis, Flame Towers in Baco, Sun and Sand, Intercontinental everywhere, Hilton, these kind of high-end hotels. We have another group which do an interior for retail like Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel, and Apple stores. And we have third group which do an interior of super yacht and private jet based in Munich, Germany. So three different group, but more or less same business, which is the interior of high-end. So we are focusing on the luxury sector. The industry by itself is not very tacky or it's like construction. And we are scattered all over the world. We have several head offices and many CEOs and managing director and vice president from different culture, from different maturity level. And that's all have a huge impact. And I just want to go a little bit back. So when the IT is not the main business, like ours, what really the business care is about the revenue, the bottom lines. So IT is just a facilitator. I can argue that we are part of the strategy. We play more and more, playing bigger role. However, I want to say that the cybersecurity is different. Cybersecurity is something comes from the board. I was in Singapore 2016. The board called me, come back to the headquarters. We want you to attend the board meeting to tell us about I want to cry at that time, which hit the healthcare sector. And the board member was like scared. Are we really scared? Another incident happened with one of the vendors as well. We all know a couple of months ago, a CrowdStrike incident where caused a big chaos. So these incidents really act beneficial for us because it's really create an awareness. Because our strategy for cybersecurity is having 3 pillars, similar to everybody. The technology is the easiest part, which we're going to talk about. You have to make sure all the boxes are ticked and you have proper measurement, you have proper ecosystem of suppliers and tools working with you. You have a SOC nowadays. We talk about the AI background, but that's not the only thing. The other thing is the governance or the process well defined, which is difficult when you have across culture and across countries, and the people. And for me, I believe the culture and the people is the most big challenge for us or for me. We have a lot of regulation. We are public listed. There is internal audit. There is the Big Four as external audits. We have an awareness program. We have physical training. We have virtual training. We have whatever you name it. We do a pseudo attack. We try to attack our users quarterly, and we have a wall of shame to list all the people who really, but it's not enough, especially with what you said. Maybe last 3 months, there is a huge change on the nature of the attack. We all felt it. Our security department really is raising a red alert, and all because of the AI nature. But I mean, it's double-edged sword as well, because we also use AI now. Our tools and our platforms is now also using AI for protecting us and for checking any abnormality and any monitoring real time and alerting us whenever there is anything wrong. And AI, maybe all of you agree with me, is not a new thing. What's really new is the LLM, you know. But I remember maybe 10 years ago, we used to have an anti-spam with AI based, with learning, machine learning algorithm, and we move it from Middle East to the Far East. And it went back to the learning phase, and all the, you know, Viagra and the junk start passing and hitting the users, while when it was in the Middle East, it was different nature of language and advertisement and junk. So when we changed the culture and the language, so it was like Mandarin thing, it went back to the learning stage to go. So AI is not something new. Yeah, it's a buzzword. Yes, there is a lot of now we have seen, as my colleague mentioned, about the Deepfake, the identity thefts, the boardroom cyber attack, which is big topic for us. You know, we have board members with different maturity levels, different culture. All of this, we have to take care of it. But we have now the zero trust platforms available. There is a lot of beautiful monitoring tools that's AI based, that also is available. The XDR or MDR, I think most
Ali,
of the organizations.
I think we will come to the defense part again, our next round. Ali, now what are the steps you are taking? I mean, like to educate people that the attack mode is changing and there is more and more customized, like as Tushar was mentioning, you know, the sophisticated.
So, right,
Spear phishing,
right.
not only spear phishing, I think we call now needle phishing, you know, like your emotion could be touched.
Correct. I think we have an awareness program. We like in weekly basis, there is a material sent to everybody across different languages and different culture all over the world. And there is an annual physical training. Everybody is mandatory to come as per the auditor. I mean, we use the compliance as a vehicle to really push everybody. Keep in mind that the maturity of the industry play a big role. You know, we are like site-based, construction site-based, scattered in the middle of nowhere. I just came from Red Sea, from Saudi. You know, it's a desert where it's everybody in the porta cabin sitting there, executives, management, project managers, site engineers are sitting there. So we physically gathered everybody in a conference room and we walked them through a material talking about how dangerous and how important is the this topic, and we keep updating this.
So
As I said,
sorry for interrupting. So recently for one customer, you know, I think it hit at the board level and the top level about, you know, the deep fake videos and all. So one of the requests what we got was we want immediate video to tell, because I think the Hong Kong incident was there, no, there was a financial loss. So the customer wanted immediate the next day a video, awareness video for educating customer, you know, the users about deep fake, you know. So is that something like that is coming? Is the board is now for
absolutely, and across the globe, it's not a particular, like, I'm not talking only Saudi or only UAE, even Germany, even Europe, North America, everybody. I think the security moved from the IT department responsibility all the way to the board. Yes, it's everybody's responsibility, but the ownership, I think it's in the KPIs of the CEO and the chairman and the board member, which is very good for us as CIOs or as you know, IT people. It's not like it's something everybody understand. It might cost or nail down the entire business. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ali. I think we have Marc and Ivan waiting for a while now. Marc, now coming to the technology domain, and see, one of the example I was referring in the beginning, we were asked to do a penetration testing for an AI system for one of the large organization in UAE, and we just before we submit the proposal, they gave a sample link, and the guys just clicked the link, they were able to access everything from outside. Just to understand the scope of work, that sample link, and the security team had not much clue, because they have very large, very strong security system and security team. We assume it is a very mature, but and it's a good step they took to onboard us to do the penetration testing. But then what we found is alarming, because they have a new, because the management, the board is pushing to go for AI adoption as much as either it is for a requirement or it's a prestigious thing, just to make sure that we are also AI enabled. The problem is the IT and the security team doesn't have much clue till and sometimes it go live without proper security design or assessment or anything. In this case, as I said, we were able to access any of their data from using some prompts. So what happened is the whole access control mechanism in the traditional database is completely gone when they move that same data to the below the LLM. So Marc, what is the technological changes we need to anticipate, and the customers or the industry has to quickly and proactively look into, evaluate, and make sure they are being implemented to ensure the right protection is there? What is your views on that, Marc?
Sure. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. So at SandboxAQ, we work at the intersection of cybersecurity and AI. That's the division I lead here, and we work with some of the largest entities in the Western world. And we have seen, as you mentioned, really fast adoption of AI technologies without accompanying cybersecurity strategy supporting that, right? AI and the use cases that AI are enabling are evolving really, really fast. And cybersecurity is playing catch up. Like we haven't been building the necessary tools to make sure that these new use cases that are fantastic and that are making a lot of things much more efficient are also secure. Until right before kind of this explosion of AI, cybersecurity had been doing a relatively good job on kind of providing the necessary tools for any new technological advancement. And we've seen that in several areas. Like, for instance, Ali was referring to, we've been using AI for kind of threat detection and anomaly detection for several years now. That's not new. It was there, but this explosion of AI and the velocity at which this is being deployed, at the scale that this is being deployed, is definitely a big challenge for the overall cybersecurity industry. We are now at the Gen AI LLM stage, and this obviously has already like a lot of challenges that you were referring to, Illyas, especially related to data protection, but also MLOps security. So all the infrastructure that's powering AI, this has been deployed overnight. And if you've been working in cybersecurity for a long time, like you know that speed and security are not very good friends. And when you go and rush things, you obviously are gonna kind of lose something along the way. You cannot do things fast and perfect. And so that's kind of what I think on the current situation. But what worries me the most, it's about the next stage. So we are starting to see some really cool use cases of agentic security. So I'm talking about autonomous AI. So this is kind of the next stage towards going to AGI, where we're going to have AI agents doing work on behalf of humans. And thinking about the cybersecurity risks that this might that this might impose into organizations makes me shiver, because there are a large number of challenges that we haven't even start thinking about, like every single potential vulnerability that we see nowadays could be massively augmented by autonomous agents that have no control, or that have no guardrails to be based on. If an AI agent writes software that gets deployed in production without any human intervention along the way, we need to have, like, we as a cybersecurity industry need to have a suite of tools in order to guarantee the information security teams of organizations that this software that is now in production and that no human has ever seen will do what it's told that it needs to do, but also will do it in the way and in the compliant way that it needs to do it. And we have no way to do that. Like right now, there are some tools that are starting to appear to modernize the way that that identity management works across IT. This is like one big example, identity management, right? So until now, the industry has been focused on human identity management, but then also recently machine or non-human identity management. With the appearance of AI, this barrier between human identity management and non-human identity management kind of gets really blurry. Like, there's going to be just like one identity that we need to manage, and we need to build the necessary tools to be able to manage identities the right way. So every single piece of software, every human, every machine should be able to authenticate and get the right authorization at the right time. And this should be done at the scale and at the speed that kind of modern organizations need. And we have no tools to do that in a holistic way. And this is just like one kind of simple example that depicts the massive gap that there is, not only now on what you were referring to with respect to LLMs and kind of the Gen AI use cases that have been deployed, but what's coming next, and that will definitely happen sooner than we all expect. So that's kind of my
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Marc. I think coming back to Ivan, really maybe take it from there. So during COVID, I think especially in the region, the cloud adoption was really got the pace, during COVID. I think even Ali and Tushar and all would agree with me. I mean, it was the option. There was no other option. So when my team was, I was a CISO that time in a bank, and when my team was complaining, Illyas, there's a lot of risk, we cannot go for cloud, I said, like, there's no other choice. If you cannot accept the management strategy and the situational push, then you find another job and I will come with you. I have to find another job. There's no point in that, you go against the business objective. So AI is in the same way. AI has to be there. AI is changing the world. AI is completely revamping, or it's a real turning point, I think, in the industry. If I say, I started my career 30 years back when I started to use my mouse for the first time in '95, and I would say that after that, the technology change, now this is one of the biggest change what is happening. And even now, how you think the industry and the technology professional, because I mentioned that the previous case in the entity where they were not in the picture, the business went ahead with AI without security review, security, at least putting some security thought process. And then they have to come in the last minute, and it may be too late, because the way AI is adopting and changing the whole ecosystem is so fast. The security team, the technology team has to find some way. So what's your thoughts, Ivan, on on that front? How do you know the industry can anticipate what is the current challenges and what could be the future? You know, in another couple of years, it may be even drastic changes and new things will be coming up in the risk. So probably I think you're best placed to tell us, you know, what you think industry should be adopting.
Great question, Illyas. First and foremost, good afternoon, everybody. Great discussion so far, and I'm super happy to be on the panel. Now, going back to your question, I think we, as in cybersecurity professionals, need to recognize one fact, and that is that cybersecurity does not exist in its own context. Cybersecurity is just a business supporting function. Might be a critical one, but nonetheless, it is a business supporting function. And let's not forget that the level of cybersecurity that's appropriate for any business is only ever going to be a business decision. It's not something that, you know, a CISO wakes up in the morning and says, from now on, you know, this will be the most secure company in the world. Because frankly, I don't know how much money you'll need to spend to get to something like that on one side. And then on the other, whether that's going to be an acceptable decision for the business, because at the end of the day, that's where the money's coming from. That being said, because it is a business decision and because it is a business supporting function, I think when it comes to new technologies, whether that's AI or something else, we need to put that in the context of how business normally approaches those things, and that's risk management. Now, what I mean by that is, when you look at what happens across the business, when you look at you know, various means and ways that business generates revenue, ultimately there will always be something that is exposed. There will be something that's at risk. There is some sort of a value, something that business stands to lose if bad things happen. And the way we should be approaching it is obviously with AI and with everything new that's happening. We are talking about possibly maybe new threat classes that can be relevant to the particular loss classes that business is already looking at, or we are talking about those new things effectively enhancing some of the existing threat classes. So the way to sort of not necessarily always stay ahead, I don't think, frankly, that that's possible. But again, the way to do it is to stop thinking in that old-fashioned reactive way, where, you know, we zone in and focus on you know, maybe the threat landscape that's at hand and what our exposure is at that particular moment in time. I think we should start shifting towards that risk landscape. So, you know, what are those things ultimately going backwards that business stands to lose, how that can happen, what are the things that we can foresee happening there so that those things can change. And ultimately, by embracing that process, we can actually open up the discussion with business. Going back to my security is only ever going to be a business decision, rather the level of security is going to be a business decision. Our job is to effectively give the business right level of information so they can make those educated decisions based on the decent information we can put in front of them. So yes, it's tough. Yes, there are many things happening, you know, around AI today that can effectively bring additional perils. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, I think we need to put that information into the context that business stakeholders can understand, so that we can get the right level of support from them. Now, most of what I said was even speaking as an ex-CISO, because I've been on that side and I've been, you know, bleeding. However, from a vendor perspective, maybe the way to approach this is also, I think, you know, we talk about this as a kind of doom and gloom stuff, but there are many positive things that we can start focusing on. And I'm more than happy to unpack, you know, how all these improvements can actually help security professionals, how by actually embracing some of it, you can start focusing really on the things that matter. And it's down to adopting the right approach. I'm repeating myself, but, you know, by taking that risk-based approach, by trying to automate things that can be automated, by effectively bringing all that extra help, at the end of the day, that does leave you a bit more time to focus on more strategic things, to focus on, again, embracing it and having the right level of discussions with business so that business can make the right decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Ivan. I think that's absolutely should be the approach. I say, security team when I was as a CISO that we don't have a job because we want to do security. We are here because the business wants to make money, and then we need to protect. There's no point in having only security without any revenue. And obviously, the risk-based approach is the way for even for AI, challenges also. So now just coming back to Tushar again, Tushar, now you are handling fraud management also, and I would say always cybersecurity or information security and fraud management are very closely connected. And now the challenges associated with AI based frauds, and similarly the advantage of AI in defending or protecting the organization from fraud. This is like a two aspect of AI, like any other technology. So how did you adopt the cybersecurity controls, and how did you kind of link that fraud and information security, cybersecurity, leveraging AI? I mean, is there any kind of use case you want to share with the audience, or what you're planning probably, or what is your advice to the audience?
Sure. So I think my fellow panelists they spoke about this at length. It is indeed a two-sided weapon. Generative AI, large language models, etc., and they can be used to enhance controls, and they similarly can be used by fraudsters to craft more convincing campaigns. In fact, couple of GPTs. Everybody knows Chat GPT, but there are a couple of GPTs that are available on the dark web for the fraudsters where they can craft malware. So these are jailbroken versions of existing GPT. There is Wolf GPT, Fraud GPT, Mal GPT for generating completely antivirus resistant malware. So you can generate, and that allows for crafting some really targeted attacks. So if you know an organization is using X type of an antivirus, you can literally ask this model to generate a malware that is resistant to that particular this, and it can generate that. Now, this is the bad side of thing, and rather the ugly side of things. As Ivan mentioned, as we grow, and Mark hinted at this as well, as we grow and adopt new technologies, your attack surface increases through the adoption of those technologies. And I remember there was the first worm called Morris. That was the first computer worm, and then there was a worm that was detected called Morris 2, and this worm was specifically designed to target AI-based assistants. So what AI-based assistants would do is, like a regular executive assistant, they can schedule meetings for you. They can look up stuff in your calendar. They can extract information. So what was the last email that Illyas sent to me? What was the discussion about? And it would pull out those. So those AI assistant. And what this Morris 2 worm targeted is, it's a completely interactionless worm, and it can talk to the AI assistant and make the assistant exfiltrate information, and then it can mail it himself to multiple copies. So as you grow and you adopt some of these technologies, your attack surface also increases. And that is the bad side of it. So we talked about the ugly side, the bad side, but what is the good side of some of these? And you can use some of these very capabilities to bolster your defenses as well. So one example is VirusTotal. Everybody knows about VirusTotal. They have a collection of antiviruses, and you can upload a file or give it a URL. It will do analysis using all those virus tools, and then it will give you a very, very technical kind of a report. So VirusTotal eventually came up with they use SecPalm, which is a LLM developed by Google. And what it does is it ingests all the highly technical information that is generated by VirusTotal, and it would literally create something that can be read and understood by an executive. So that is one way that LLMs can literally be used. And similar technology, I think Ivan hinted at this. is being used by security teams as well for triaging of incidents. So there are a lot of time that is spent by a security analyst or a SOC analyst in trying to triage a particular incident, and a lot of these tasks can be automated using this. Another example that is being used is AI-powered penetration testing. So you can conduct pen testing using AI-based tools, incident response I talked about. One very interesting case that the bank itself successfully implemented is multilingual and very rapid creation of awareness material. So typically, you would note that you would receive emails from your bank trying to educate you against the new frauds, and these are either in English or Arabic. But when your customers is a mix of a lot of other nationalities, and some of them cannot read English or Arabic, then you have to literally do something that will appeal to them. So we created multilingual awareness collaterals. Earlier, it would take a trip to the marketing department, their agencies, some creative will come back, and then some changes will happen. So the lifetime of such thing was very big. Now, with certain prompts, Mid-Journey, and couple of other tools, you can literally generate a lot of creatives that are looking similar to each other, and you can do it really quickly. So those are some of the use cases that we see. And this is what I call the good, bad, and ugly of Gen AI and LLM.
So, because we are just running out of time, and only 12 more minutes, I have to just have hear from all the participants. So maybe if you can, all of you can just go pretty little quick, 30 seconds, 1 minute. I want to hear from Ali. Ali, so now this part of fraud related and security related controls and the leverage of AI, what Tushar mentioned. So what do you think, Ali, is going to be the future approach? How you would suggest that, because it's a real complex scenario, and I think many organization, many technology team has really doesn't have any clarity how to approach, how to leverage at the same time.
I think as a public listed company, we always driven by the compliance, and we all probably have a look at the EU AI Act, which is not only from the security perspective, but it's talk about all different angle, talk about the 6 areas and the rights of the users and the data accuracy and the bias and the ethics part of it. But from security perspective, I think we are all kept to do our defense by ourselves. Each one of us is doing his due diligence. What I mean by us, organization, we are seeking, at the end of the day, I'm a construction company. I should not be an IT company. I seek to have an ecosystem of vendors who is open-minded and up-to-date, and I can trust and build a strategic relationship with them to depends on them, in addition to having my own security team, because I think it's a long journey. It's not something you can just do it by yourself, especially when you are, as I said, you are not an IT industry, you are not from IT company, and there is a huge lack of skills in the market. I mean, I really struggle, whether in Saudi or even in UAE, to find a really high quality people when it comes to the cybersecurity. I think this is very important. The regulation is very important, and before the regulation, the governance, putting a proper governance policies and procedures, and changing the culture in the organization, so everybody will be alerted and everybody will be aware of what's going on, and that AI is not only ChatGPT, and it's a lot of these spams and emails and videos is coming to us is driven by AI nowadays. So I think it's a full ecosystem where part of it the CIO or the CISO have to do, and part of it to have a really an echo or a strategic partners where you guys or we should depends upon and use. Like I have plenty, and including the SOC, for example, where you have somebody 24/7 is just monitoring your environment. I think that's and also I think you need to keep in mind that there is still the dinosaurs and the legacy systems and the ERPs, and all of this has a technology limitation. I don't just can plug a tool and said, what, I tick a box and I'm passed in terms of auditors. I have a security measure in place. I have a firewall. I have endpoint security. I have, anti-data leakage and third-party security. That's not enough, You still have some old technology in there that's delivering value to the business, and you have to secure this environment. It's not just the cloud, guys. It's also in-prem, because a cloud is not for everybody. Still we have data centers all over the world. We have to secure it. So it's a full ecosystem that we have to take care of it.
Thank you so much, Ali. I think there are a lot of points to pick up, a lot of information. Even Tushar, I think you covered a lot of real example and how to leverage AI for the kind of fast tracking, a lot of control implementation. How to kind of avoid all the bureaucracy challenges and stuff. So coming back to Anoop, I think you said in your profile somewhere, passion and you drink and eat GRC. So Anoop, now we are seeing as a vendor, as a service provider, a lot of requests to build AI governance framework. So because just to make sure that, because currently it is many organizations just goes to AI because it's coming from board and CEO, and there's no kind of proper path how to do it, what should be done, what should not be done, and how to ensure the protection of data. Because I said the example is that the data is moved out from all the controls you put our last many years, and that is being used by LLM without any identity or access controls. So how you make sure, yes, it is to be used and done, but to have that framework. I mean, so what are your thoughts on information centric security and governance around the whole AI approach or adoption? What are your thoughts, Anoop?
Like I said, I hold everybody's hand. Okay, it is all the CXOs, all the business owners. I am no more an IT or a security department. I'm not only a cost center. I'm helping them to improve their profit as well. So what we have done here is, let's say, GRC mantra: hold everybody's hand. That is, reduce operational cost, improve the performance, and reduce the operational risk. And be smart enough to deliver the solution. Use AI LLMs as a commodity. So first thing is that, say, know your asset, know your data, define a pipeline to achieve your compliance in a reduced cost model, to do the audit part in a reduced cost model, that is information ready for the auditors. You don't have to spend much time in the audit cycle and spend so much money on the third-party auditors. Compliance program cost is reduced. So GRC is the mantra. So what we have done here is, let's say, any changes, any request, any projects, or anything new coming in, it's going through this pipeline where a thorough risk assessment, that is already mentioned by, I think, Ivan, about informed decision making. That is a predictive analysis in terms of operational risk, in terms of financial risk, in terms of operational impact, or any vulnerabilities itself, say, while developing that application. So in a smart way, you develop your applications, you ensure your data is identified and kept ready, and you adopt AI engines in a commodity way, so that your cost control there itself and your application and data is secured well, because it's going through the entire audit and compliance pipeline also. And education is part and parcel of it. So education in terms of people, education in terms of processes, adjustments, and the technology configurations is with roles and responsibility defined there. So that is how we succeed to reach the market as fast as possible.
Thank you so much, Anoop. So coming to Ivan, so now taking that, because AI has to be faster, like cloud, the faster time to market is very important. So how do you make sure, Ivan, that the security and IT team able to identify the security gaps and prioritize those based on risk? And not everything can be fixed before they go live. Maybe the certain showstopper which needs to be fixed, but the remaining things can be fixed in an agile manner. So is there some thoughts you can share around that within probably 1 minute maximum?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, that's a perfect use case for AI, isn't it? When we look at, how certain things need to be prioritized, if you try to do it by hand, good old spreadsheet way of doing things, trying to, sort out thousands and thousands of vulnerabilities, that's a tough one. If you start leveraging what's available to us today, so bringing together various threat intel sources, understanding, for example, at a simple vulnerability level, is that something that can be easily exploited, and how? Is it something that's relevant to the asset that's, I don't know, internet exposed or internal? Is it something that runs on a critical server? Is it something that runs on an asset that actually generates serious amount of money? All of those things, if you put the right process in place and if you take them into account, can be almost fully automated using the tooling that exists today even. When you think about, again, in the context of a humble vulnerability, can you even do something more to sort of preempt that vulnerability being exploited? Because I don't know, you on one side, you might understand that you have some additional mitigating controls there. On the other, you might try to, I don't know, if you have the appropriate EDR, you might be able to understand whether what it gives you out of the box maybe suppresses the particular exploit code and so on. All of those things are something that can absolutely speed up time to market, as long as you understand what you're dealing with, as long as you understand how those things fit into your environment. And, I'm going to kind of finish on, we really need to start thinking about moving away from the old ways of doing things. We need to start thinking about moving away from, typical vulnerability management or this management or that management. I'll go to where I started earlier on with, we really need to start doing risk management. And by doing it correctly, I guess we can all embrace new stuff.
Thanks, Ivan. So Marc, you have only 30 seconds before we wind up. Marc, now, as probably we touched upon in my earlier discussion with you, that the traditional controls may not be really applicable now anymore. So there are certain areas of new levels, new type of technology controls, even process controls that may be required to manage the AI security challenges. So what do you think, maybe in the shortest way you can tell, what kind of areas, 1, 2, 3 technology areas that organization needs to look at, on the controls, control type of controls?
Yeah, sure. I would definitely start by the foundation of cybersecurity, which is in this case cryptography. There are no modern ways of managing cryptography end to end, and by managing cryptography end to end, I mean having the right tools to discover where cryptography is, who is using cryptography, when is it being used, by what is it being used, how is it being used, and then be able to manage all that information in an easy way, in a centralized way, so that you can be sure that you're being compliant, or that at least you have an audit trail about what's happening on at this kind of underlying foundational pillar of cybersecurity. And finally, also the necessary tools to fix whatever is found, like whatever vulnerability that is related to cryptography that is found. We also don't have the tools to kind of go there and fix them in an automated way without having to dedicate human resources to go there and kind of having to redeploy or reinstall certain things, or having to go and manually kind of provision with X509 certificates specific instances or workloads. Therefore, I'm kind of a really strong advocate of starting by kind of the foundational components. This is actually also one of the things that we're working on. Like we're building the necessary tools to modernize the way that cryptography management
So Mark,
is.
sorry for interruption, but that you are saying about data-centric security. You want to ensure the data is encrypted at whatever stage it is, and is that
it's data. I mean, for sure it's data, but also systems in general, right? Like having the right cryptography process in place allows you to protect your data, but also allows you to protect your systems from kind of potential breaches and potential intrusions, because you have the right authentication mechanisms to protect your organization against that. So that's definitely one of the things that I think it's important. Then once this is addressed, this kind of single pane of glass holistic approach that goes from discovering, managing, and then remediating and providing the right tools for information security teams to be as efficient as possible are going to be key in this area, where they should really be paying attention not to these kind of issues that we know have been there for decades, but to any potential new threats that are coming derived from this quick AI evolution. So.
Thank you so much, Mark. Sanjay, I think we are running out of time. So is there some questions from the audience which you want us to take? Is there some questions from the audience which you want us to take?
Yeah, Illyas, thank you very much, and all rest of the speakers. Thank you very much for your insightful discussion. We have indeed one question, the Q&A. I also welcome the audience to ask a question. You can write here in the Q&A. If you raise your hand, if you want to ask, I mean, we don't have much time, maybe 2 minutes maximum we can take. Illyas, there is a question in the Q&A window, if you can take it.
I cannot see that.
How can ISO standards such as ISO 42001, 42001 and ISO 27001 contribute to development of secure, responsible and ethical AI system? That's the question from Mr. Ayub.
Anyone wants to take it?
I can talk
Yeah,
a bit
please.
about, I mean, these are, let's talk about 27001. This is like 20 years old ISO about the security in general, about the basic foundation of having security in place in any organization. The 42001 is also, I mean, these ISOs is very good. It's the foundational. It's good to have a proper things in place, but absolutely it's not enough. You have to really set up a proper governance beyond these ISO to manage the huge challenges that are in there. It's good to have these ISO certified just to show that you have a basic foundation for your organization, but is it gonna protect you? Not at all, from my perspective. Maybe the other colleague can comment.
So I can just add on. It's like same like ISO for many organization, namesake certificate on the wall, or it can be used to really improve the security, because it's about how we are taking it. You know, it could be just a standard and getting certified for the namesake, or leverage that as a framework to improve the controls. You know, with heart. So when you work with heart on complying with those certification, it will give a structure for your overall approach. I think in that way, it could be a starting point, as Ali mentioned, I would say.
Okay. If you have any question, we can take it. Okay, so he acknowledges, Ayub acknowledges the answer that you gave. Thank you, Ayub, for asking the question. If you have any question, we can we have a couple of minutes we can take, otherwise we can bring to a conclusion. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. So before we wrap up, I would like to extend heartfelt thank to our moderator Illyas, and thanks to all panelists, Mr. Ali. Thank you very much, Anoop. Thank you very much once again, because you have been very, very supportive. Mark, even Tushar, thank you all for taking time out and being part of this very interesting conversation on AI-led cybersecurity strategy. AI actually bothering everyone, and cybersecurity is the biggest thing where this piece of technology is adding and putting every organization into trouble. So I'll say that with this we wrap this conversation, and thank you very much to all our participants. Stay safe, stay vigilant against cyber threat. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you all,
Appreciate it.
and Sanjay. Thank you. Appreciate it.